Hey everyone, and welcome to this first video of Agile Shorts. They are going to be short videos around the topics of Agile, and in this first video we will be talking about the basics of Agile. So I hope for those of you who are quite new to Agile or just started are going to find this really useful, and for everyone else too. These series are going to be short videos, like I mentioned, that I really hope are going to be educational, inspirational, and lots of fun, which is why I also have my amazing AI companion that I always have with me called Lisa. So, Lisa, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi there and welcome to Lovises and my project, called Agile Shorts. My name is Lisa and I'm the avatar of my maker when she can't be bothered to talk too much. I'm looking forward to sharing with you everything we've prepared for this short video. And Lovisa. I'm an AI but I still get your joke about calling it Agile Shorts. I mean, shorts. Come on. I have to say I'm a bit embarrassed.
Why should you care about agility? Well, in short, yeah, that's a joke. The first Agile Shorts video will introduce the different factors of why Agile is needed. Everything from shorter feedback loops to better team collaboration and adaptation to a forever changing world. But the question still remains though, why? Just as Dave Snowden fully focuses on complex adaptive systems, my angle is something specific too. People. The structures and systems that we have built into us as individuals, teams, organizations, and companies are right now working against our strengths, against what makes us great. Imagine everything automated, everything technologized. What do we have left? Human traits. What makes that and what makes us so different? Well, empathy, kindness, collaboration, experimentation, innovation, I can go on. The structures that we are conforming to right now have made us and our customers that we should serve. In today's world, I think we have forgotten that we exist because of our customers. We move further and further away from reality. I mean, employees are numbers. Employee motivation, engagement, fulfillment is still based on the carrot and stick approach. People with close customer relations, they adhere to, someone who's 5 steps away from the customer, and that person decides what is important and not. Anyway, this wasn't meant to be a lecture from me. This is just me telling you my why. People and customers. I want to make the world a better place for both.
Before we begin, let's review our learning goals for this presentation. Why do we need business agility? A historical perspective of Agile. Understanding the basics of Agile and Agile terminology. I hope this sounds good to you. I'm excited. Let's go.
Before I let Lisa introduce today's first topic of VUCA, so volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, I would just like to make a comment regarding some discussions that the Agile community and outside have right now regarding these acronyms. There is also another called BANI, which is brittle, anxious, non-linear, and incomprehensible, as if we couldn't put more difficult English words together into one acronym. Anyway, the purpose of these words, no matter what you call it after this shorts today, if you decide that shrimp, caterpillar, whatever fills your heart desire, will make you remember what type of world we live in today, then that will make me happy, and that's the end of the purpose of these acronyms. They can't induce action. They won't tell you how to create your new business model to live in an agile world, but they are there, and I prefer VUCA, to remind you, to introduce to those who haven't been enlightened regarding what type of world we live in today, that we cannot control people and we cannot predict the future. Over to you, Lisa.
VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. It describes the situation of constant, unpredictable change that is now the norm in all industries and areas of the business world. VUCA demands that you avoid traditional, outdated approaches to management and leadership, and day-to-day working. These are usually too sluggish and limited to be effective in a turbulent environment. Volatility. Volatility describes the force of change in the world today. Change is often unexpected and creates an unstable environment. We have to learn to live with this turbulence, and often we don't know for how long it will last. Uncertainty. Uncertainty is not being able to predict the future. Even just tomorrow, things may have changed and surprise even the best forecasters. Complexity. Complexity is understanding that, more often than not, there is no cause and effect. If complexity is not adhered to, it will cause a lot of wrong decisions and misunderstandings of situations, especially if you deem them simple when they actually are more complex. Ambiguity. Ambiguity is the inexactness of reality. Some things can be interpreted in many ways. Causality is unclear. These are the things that are affecting the world right now, in no particular order. Digitalization. Globalization. Artificial intelligence. All right, Lovisa, be careful with this one. Climate change. The workforce becoming mainly knowledge workers. Human rights. Mental health. Post-COVID. Some people think that things happening in the world will not affect the workplace. I'm here to tell you, you will be surprised. Political upheaval, fear of artificial intelligence, cybersecurity issues, climate change, the effect on human rights, this will show its face in your workplace whether you talk about it or not. So best keep on top of it and lead the conversation. Agile will try and give you the tools so you can experiment and try to find the best way to live and learn together with these topics. When we stand in front of a challenge or a project, we start out with the least amount of knowledge. We are often very quick to want to go and find out the parts that we don't know, so that we can gain the knowledge and therefore build us a plan and solution to go ahead and fix our challenge or conclude our project scope. However, when we start to deliver on that newly gained knowledge and plan, we suddenly realize that there are things that we don't know. So, what is the problem then? Well, if you accept the description of the world that I just shared previously, then you need to plan for the unknown. Because you know it's coming, but you cannot gain the knowledge of what it is or how to handle it now. Working in an agile way can simply be described as working iterative and incremental. What is the purpose of doing this? When we work incrementally, we deliver a small piece of the puzzle by slowly probing, experimenting, and at the same time continuously improving through iterations. We reduce risk because we don't deliver one big chunk of work after a long period of time, with the risk that it may be wrong or even irrelevant. We also create more value by allowing feedback much earlier in the process, which means the smaller pieces are also more relevant to what you are trying to achieve. The agile onion is a popular metaphor that describes the various layers of complexity involved in agile ways of working within our organizations. To achieve change in the organizations, we need to work on several levels. Mindset is the outer layer of the onion. Everything comes under a mindset change, which can be very hard to achieve across a large organization and can take time. Many organizations want change, but many are not prepared to change either as an organization or an individual. See the change curve. However, they must be prepared to open their minds to progress, becoming a learning organization. Sounds simple, but many organizations and people are not prepared for this. This area is the most powerful but less obvious. Values and principles are the next layers. It's important to have clear set values. If you want to have high-performing teams, you need to instill values within your organizations and teams. Principles are just as important in allowing people to optimize around them. This area requires structural and cultural changes within the organization. Practices, tools, and processes are the inner layers. This is the easiest place to understand and start. It's not as powerful, but is very visible, which makes organizations feel like they are changing fast. Frameworks such as Scrum and Kanban provide guidance for teams and allow a faster change to the ways of working. However, only doing this at team level and not progressing with mindset, values, and principles will lead to problems and obstacles to overcome sooner rather than later. Many organizations only focus on this level and wonder why they are not getting the results from their agile transformation. When the Industrial Revolution came along, humans had to streamline work to produce goods at a higher frequency than before. Due to technology not being automated at the scale we see today, the only available machines were people. In the pursuit of production at scale, companies basically took away people's autonomy, mastery, and purpose, basically the essential elements of rewarding work, turning people into mindless automations. This type of management style is called scientific management, which is a theory of management that streamlines workflows. Its main objective is improving economic efficiency, especially labor productivity. It was one of the earliest attempts to apply science methods to management. Scientific management is sometimes known as Taylorism after its pioneer, Frederick Winslow Taylor. Taylor began the theory's development in the United States during the 1880s and 1890s within manufacturing industries, especially steel. Scientific management can be summarized in four main principles. 1. Using scientific methods to determine and standardize the one best way of doing a job. 2. A clear division of tasks and responsibilities. 3. High pay for high-performing employees. 4. A hierarchy of authority and strict surveillance of employees. Although scientific management as a distinct theory was considered obsolete by the 1930s, most of its themes are still important parts of industrial engineering and management today. I'm sure you could recognize some traits in your workplace today in the four main principles.
When we talk about Taylorism or scientific management, we often name Henry Ford. And the reason that we do that is because he actually employed Mr. Taylor to come and take a look at his production process to see if there were more cost savings or even time savings that could be done, and the way that his employees worked, to see if they were doing tasks that were creating no value, or no value for the production process, I should say, or the time efficiency needed to create the T model. Now, Henry's motivation was to create the T model in a quicker time. If he took down the production time of the car, he could sell it for cheaper, which he did, and therefore making the automobile more available for other customers that maybe didn't have that type of money. Now, the question is always, though, okay, you won something on this side. I think it's an argument that's used against Agile quite a lot. Well, the company is doing really well and we're making lots of money. We can live in this complex, hard world and still we're doing really well. Well, what is the cost on the other side? And I'm talking about the people, of course. This quote by Henry Ford, "Don't find fault, find a remedy," is actually something I've heard from leaders and managers today. And there is nothing wrong with encouraging your employees to try and find solutions, understanding root causes and problems. But the problem is, as with very much of the scientific management Taylorism movement, is that you forget the best traits that people have. So if they never share faults with you and always have to come up with a solution on their own, you are not getting or receiving the possibility to understand what your organization looks like, where problems or challenges are. But you're also putting the burden on the employee to always find the remedy, where actually it would be better to get a whole group together, maybe get an expert in, or depending on which area you are in, if you talk about the Kinevin model, which I will introduce later, Are we in a complex or chaotic or whatever type of situation? Maybe there we need to do tests or probes or sense making to understand what the challenge actually is. But having the employee actually notice something and tell it to you is a huge, huge show of trust. And it's something you should encourage. So I think this will conclude our little history lesson on work.
The evolution of auto manufacturing is interesting. Originally, each vehicle was custom crafted. No standard parts or tooling existed. Builders were true craftsmen and extremely skilled. Ford revolutionized the industry with standard tools and assembly, making for faster output and repairs. The negative effect was a labor force with lower skills, lower pay, poor motivation, and career stagnation on the assembly line. The massive standardization also meant a rigid, inflexible process. Toyota changed all this by doing the following: cross-training teams to learn the whole system and have ownership. Enabling teams to have autonomy and control to change improve quickly. A sense of urgency and competition both internally and externally. Focus on fixing every issue, even halting production for a single issue. If you were to take away something from this way of working that would improve your current situation, what would that be? The Agile Manifesto is a document that sets out the key values and principles behind the Agile philosophy and serves to help development teams work more efficiently and sustainably. Known officially as the Manifesto for Agile Software Development, the manifesto detailing 4 values and 12 principles. Acting as a proclamation, it is designed to improve software development methodologies and directly responds to the inefficiency of traditional development processes. Namely, their reliance on weighty documentation and opportunity for oversight. While the original document specifically set out to help software developers build business solutions in a faster and more efficient way, it has had a huge impact on the wider development industry and beyond. My favorite value is individuals and interactions over processes and tools. I want you to take that value with you after this introduction and think about what it would be like to choose individuals and interactions over processes and tools in your day-to-day life. You can find the whole Agile Manifesto online, just give it a Google. Now I just want you to read this slide on your own to absorb some of the concepts we've talked about today.
Thank you so much for watching this first introductory to Agile Shorts and agility as a topic. I really appreciate you taking all this time. And if you have feedback, if you have thoughts, questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I'm going to try to make these a continuous series of Agile topics, and they're going to be short, hopefully shorter than this one, but they're going to be around 15 minutes. So they're going to be easy to consume, and I hope you will continue to follow these moving forward. Thank you so much, and I wish you a great rest of your day. Bye.